Hi, so it's Patrick Turner-Lee at ptlarts.com, and I've got a really fantastic guest to talk to today. My son, Michael,
Hello.
MTL, otherwise known as MTL on PTL, Patrick Turner-Lee, Michael Turner-Lee. So, hi to my son, Mike, who's down from London. Like what I want to talk about is like creativity, working in the creative world. Like, as you know, I paint portraits, I paint landscapes, and I do watercolors. And I've been doing a series of videos about artists, art, art as a business, or art a business, not as a business, but a business. In other words, that business, the way that you work and everything, you can do the same. They're not a separate thing. It's not a separate part of the brain or anything. So it's like the whole of your life. So I'll let Mike, if you be just tell us where you're at, what you're doing now.
Yeah, no problem. So I am currently at the University of Roehampton doing my master's or my MFA in choreography. And I also went to the University of Roehampton for my undergraduate to do in dance studies. And so, yeah, I'm pursuing dance and at the moment trying to find how I can forge my own route similar to what Pat's doing with setting up his own business with his art and sort of forging my own future really. So I'm doing sort of exploring that at the moment, and I'm just a few months into my MFA now. It's really been enjoyable so far. Got a year and a half to go, and hoping for the best.
Thanks, Mike. So I just wondered if, obviously I'm aware of it, but nobody else that's watching or know. How did you get to dance? What happened?
Yeah, so basically, I was initially throughout school and college doing predominantly academic subjects. I was doing at college, just to give you an idea, for my levels, I did law, economics, sociology, and global perspectives. And I had the vision of going to move to America to do this. There was a particular uni, a Buddhist uni I wanted to go to called Sock University in America, and I wanted to do international relations. And my vision was to work in the UN at some point in the future, and I wanted to add these big ideas about what I wanted to do, which there was nothing wrong with, but I was just trying to grapple onto something for my future, as you naturally are at that time. And then I had a bit of a, you could say, crisis period. I had a year out where I was applying to go to America, and I sort of just was like, no, I'm not. I felt really, really uncomfortable about this thing that I was setting out to do, and I just didn't want to do it. So I dropped it at the last minute, dropped the application to go there. So then I was left with this situation where I had nothing. And I was working in a newsagent, and I carried on. I'd had an extra gap year, so worked that extra in the newsagent. And then during that time, I had this wonderful experience of starting to do some improvisation classes, a bit of acting, a bit of dance, which were through the encouragement of some of my friends who had taken that route. And I sort of found myself opening up a lot of expressive energy, which of course was always there, but I never really found the right way to be able to express it. And then from there, I thought, okay, this is something I want to pursue further. And since then, I've sort of done a variety. So I did a short course, a 2 year course, college course, and then went on in dance, and then went on to do the undergraduate and now the MFA. And I'm sort of, it's consistently opening up new possibilities, really. It's a challenge, as we all know as artists. It's never easy, but it's something I can see a lot of value in, and it's really yeah, that's sort of how I came to it in a long route. Sorry for that.
So brilliant. Yeah. So what would you say is your greatest challenge at the moment?
My greatest challenge at the moment, I think probably self-discipline to keep motivated consistently, creatively, because I think that, I mean, in the MFA, I've got the great opportunity to be around creative people 5 days a week, essentially. So I've got that, you know, when I'm in uni and stuff, but I'm in terms of, I feel like I've got a lot of creative potential, a lot of things I want to do, but then a limit to what I'm actually achieving at the moment. That's so there's the feeling of keeping motivated to push further consistently.
Oh, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because on some of the other videos, I've been sort of not talking with anybody, but talking with you, anyone who's been watching a few of them, and that resonates, doesn't it? So it's not easy for anyone. There isn't a time where it becomes easy, but that's part of the process. Part of the process is this struggle and this self-discipline. So recently, Mike, I know that you've just completed, just share with the viewers your experience of taking an action every day, which was an incredible 100-day challenge, 100-day challenge doing a dance video on Instagram. How just share a bit of what you've experienced.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a journey. So in March time, I begun the campaign, which is obviously more than 100 days ago, you know, but it was at that time I'd started at the end of March. I did my day one for this challenge that I initiated as a way of counteracting my feelings of lack of self-fulfillment, and at that time I hadn't decided I wanted to do the masters, so I was in this gap year I was in this year out from uni, and I was working in the pub job that I'd been working from before, which there's nothing wrong with the work. I was enjoying it with the friends I made there, but I was feeling very, very stuck in creatively in terms of I'd been involved in a couple of performances since uni, but it just wasn't satisfying what I wanted to be doing, myself. So I just sort of felt like I needed to push somehow, and this idea that I came up with was to do this daily short, so it's sort of 1 minute or so video a day of me dancing in a different location, and sort of to basically spark my creativity. And it was a journey because I was sort of thinking through it, maybe I should just do it on my own, and sort of it can be affected because I have a camera and I'm going to be performing for the camera. But the thing was, that I found was it was actually really it was really powerful, because it enabled me to continue it through to the end, because it wasn't just me I was doing it for, it was for the people also watching, which the countless people watching. So yeah, and I had a number of times. There was one key time in May where I had a bit of a breakdown, had a bit of a mental breakdown with everything that was going on in my life, and I moved from London back to Brighton with my family, and I sort of had to take a bit of time out from the challenge, but then came back onto it when I sort of became stronger. And sort of now 1st of January I did the last one, and it's really felt like I've just sort of scratched the surface of something that I'm going to go a lot further with, and I think that maybe something like next would be setting up a Vimeo channel or something, like my dad's doing with the YouTube channel or something, and sort of expanding further, because a lot of because I did these 1 minute videos, and I found that a lot of ideas for bigger pieces came out of that. So there's a lot of the beginnings of things that have emerged from doing this campaign. So yeah, it was important for me. It was an important process. Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Like as artists, a business, that's what it's about, is like hacking something that, like a path in the jungle that's maybe not existed before. So like, it doesn't mean that we're just gonna, we're gonna come across like entanglements that are difficult for us to hack through. But it's like that process actually is something that we need for the whole of our creative life to make it sustainable. So that it's not like there's suddenly a clearing and that's it, we're there. It's like there's always going to be these challenges. So I know it's a big question, and you don't have to. Maybe you've got an idea, I don't know. But what is your goal in your creative life for the next 5 years?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So actually, in the midst of this 100-day challenge, maybe around sort of halfway through, I was actually reflecting upon this question myself, like thinking, where am I going, and where do I want to go in the long run, and starting with like a 5-year vision, and so yeah, I did set myself. So I've it's not very clear, but I do know that my goal, you could say, for 5 years from the summer of 2018 is to have fully established my own performance company, and I think I'm beginning to take shape of what that might look like, but it's very, very, very like the sketching out of an image you can imagine in my mind. But I would like to, be touring with my own company at that point. That's my vision.
That's really brilliant. So it's like, again, I've talked about it a little bit, and it's something that I'm working on, and maybe we can all work on. It's like having that goal, that long-term goal, and not pinning it down too much, but just having a feeling of what that might be, and that like taking actions every day, like Mike's done with like this 100-day challenge. And what you see is that you start to see the way that you think and the way that you work, and the challenges that you have and the things that you need to strengthen on and to build this foundation to get to your long-term goal. So I've got one more like political with a small p type-ish question for young people. Is, how do you feel about social media, YouTube, as a vehicle for young people? What's your feelings about it?
I think, that's a challenging one. I think it's a double-edged sword, you could say, because I think it's it enables us, on one level, we can connect with everyone very easily, and it's people from who we've met around the world, around the world, and everyone we want to, meet and who we've connected with and stuff, and friends that are difficult to go and visit, and we can also use it as a platform for expressing our creative endeavors and our thoughts or whatever. But it can also, because it's very fast paced, like the nature of society that the society we're living in now, it can be draining if you don't. I think there has to be a balance with how you approach it, which I think, because I think over usage of social media and, video, YouTube or whatever, it's very, it's not reality, really. It's not, I mean, it is, but it's sort of like, we have to sort of remain rooted in our existence, in our daily life, to be able to really remain sane and go ahead with our, you know, sort of, yeah. So I think that it's something that like I found with this 100-day challenge, that I could see the great value. It enabled me to see the value in social media, because generally I've got quite a pessimistic view on social media overall, which you wouldn't expect doing a 100-day challenge on Instagram. But the view that it's sort of like, it's something other than making contact with friends and stuff. It's sort of, it's something I feel I don't, yeah, it's very, it can be all absorbing, all consuming, and sort of suck out my energy. But the thing is that, as I found through the challenge, that actually it can really draw out, for me, it can be very value creative for enabling me to, it's a platform for me to, it's changed my way of thinking about it, maybe to now use it as something for my creative endeavors more than a personal account of my life, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, it serves, yeah, I think both positive and negative functions, as with everything does in life. So
yeah, brilliant, interesting, really interesting, isn't it? It's actually, I think, the key thing again, like PTL arts, like I've been talking about, reveal, inspire and connect. So it's the connect thing. So it's the way that we connect, isn't it? If it's like we're connecting to create value for others, if we're creating value for others, then we create value for ourselves. But if we're just trying to take something from somebody, then it has an adverse effect. So like that carries through in the whole of our life. So yes, it's like connected. So business wise, if we like to have a business to make it really work, if we concentrate on creating value for others, then I think that's the way forward. So thank you very much, Mike, very much for listening. And when you listen or when you watch this, please, like on the YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up down below, thumbs up, any comments, any thoughts, whatever. I will look at and get back to you and answer and get involved in a conversation. I'm quite happy about that, about young people, creativity, old people-ish creativity, you know, and anything, and like if you really like listening to interviews and talking about it, hopefully I can get more people to talk about these subjects, because I think they're really important for everybody, whether you paint pictures, dance, write, or aspire to do that, or think that you're not creative and you're interested in it, because actually I think the whole of life is based around, there's a creative aspect in everything that we do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.